right, everyone, that was a great trip to the museum. Let's discuss a little bit about what you learned. First, I have to get in a more comfortable position. Much better. Now, before I ask some of you to share, let's just do a quick review of what we saw. We saw the Northern Renaissance and conversation pieces from Bosch and Bruegel, the Reformation, Where are the indulgences in Scripture? And the Counter-Reformation. Is that chiaroscuro? The Baroque era, the Rococo era, slay, pursue that worldly pleasure, the Enlightenment, Écraser and Neoclassicism. I definitely rode on this horse and not a donkey. Way. And who could forget the Classical era? Mein diese Beflot is perfection in form. But we also saw the Romantic era, Realism, the Gilded Age, Impressionism, Post-Impressionism, Expressionism, Modernism, and Postmodernism, where we just decided to play with nonsense. All right, now that we kind of covered what we saw, I want you to be my museum tour guide and tell me what was most impactful for you.
And you're looking at this painting by Vincent van Gogh. This is probably one of the most famous paintings ever done. His paintings would not become popular until after he died. He was in and out of mental hospitals, but he used the style of painting that is manic, so his brushstrokes are wild and crazy, as you can see in the sky.
Nice.
The painting we have here is called The Elevation of the Cross, and it was painted by Rubens during the Baroque era. Some characteristics of Baroque era artwork is the use of angles and diagonals to create emotion and depth, and the use of dark colors to create more emotion and drama.
Oh yeah.
And here we have the Banjo Lesson, which was painted by Henry Osawa Tanner, who was actually the first African-American celebrity. He painted this painting during the Gilded Age, which was a time that ranged from 1870 to 1900. It received its name, the Gilded Age, from Mark Twain and Charles Dudley. In this painting, Henry Tanner depicts two people, and it's often interpreted that this is a grandfather teaching a grandson how to play the banjo. But a more accurate interpretation of this is that this is an old man teaching a young boy how to play the banjo. This time, African Americans who were slaves in the South, they didn't grow up with their families, they didn't know their families. And so this is a depiction of an old man passing down culture and tradition down to a young boy.
Absolutely.
This is the next painting called La Grenere by Monet. This was a series painting, and he painted it different times at different times of the day. So this was a different time of day that he painted this same scene. And he captured this moment exactly as it was, so that required him to paint really fast. Monet captured atmospheric effects of light and shadow, and he did many other series paintings as well. He was the father of Impressionism, and the Impressionism era was from 1869 to 1910, and this era was based on capturing things in the exact moment, which is exactly what he did.
Love it.
Here we have a painting done by Stuart Davis in 1918 called Multiple Views. This painting represents modernism. As we take a look at this painting, it has multiple paintings in and of itself, creating this whole painting. Davis takes multiple points throughout his day and paints them each separately, then puts them together like a puzzle to make this painting we now call Multiple Views. In this painting, he explores ideas of shifting viewpoints and discontinuous space. He also does not follow any set of arbitrary rules. This painting is his pure exploration of his own imagination, which is a key point in its representation of modernism.
Dope.
The Romantic era from 1800 to 1848 contains 8 characteristics: nature, emotion, the noble savage, individualism, creed, interest in the occult, isolation in the inner journey, and nationalism. An expression of nationalism in this painting right here, titled Liberty Leading the People by Delacroix, where we can just see this outward expression of emotion and pride towards the country in this historical event.
This is a painting of the death of Marat, who was a French revolutionary leader. Marat was murdered by Charlotte Corday. The reason behind the murder was because Charlotte Corday was a political enemy to Marat and blamed Marat for the September massacre.
Classical era lasted from 1750 to 1814. Some key characteristics of this era were that perfection in form was emphasized, art was drawn from and focused on ancient Greek and Roman culture, pianoforte was invented, and music began to be enjoyed by the average person and not just the aristocracy. Mozart. He lived from 1756 to 1791 and played his first symphony at the age of 3. I wanted to focus on him because he was such a big name from this era, and music was a form of art that was key to the characteristics of the classical era.
Ooh, this is nice!
Wow, you're amazing tour guides. Full points.